Real people, real opinions.
Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Ireland's classic hits.
Is there anything wrong with raising your child as a vegan? Doctors in Belgium have called for parents who raise their children as vegans to face prosecution after a number of deaths in schools, nurseries and hospitals. It's estimated that 3% of Belgian children are forced to follow a strict vegan diet, which rules out any animal products, including dairy and eggs. And the Royal Academy of Medicine in Belgium published a legal document some years ago, a legal opinion, which could influence future court judgments, as the first time a health authority has taken a position on veganism in this country, or in that country, should I say. The opinion said it was unethical to subject your child to the diet because it didn't include animal proteins and vital amino acids, which can help the growth of a young baby and a young child's growing bones and prevent health problems. The vegan diet could only be made safe for growing children if complemented with medical supervision, regular blood tests and vitamin supplements, which most parents were not qualified to do or provide. Professor George Kashmir, who led the commission that wrote the report, said we must explain to the parents before compelling them that we can no longer tolerate this endangerment. This restrictive regime requires ongoing monitoring of children to avoid deficiencies and often irreversible growth delays. And the legal opinion was it is unsustainable for an unborn children, teenagers and pregnant women lactating. It is not, it goes on to say, it is not medically recommended and even forbidden to subject a child, especially during periods of rapid growth, to a potentially destabilising diet requiring frequent supplementation and control. The concept of nutrition is similar to a form of treatment that is not ethical to impose on a child. Now, Dawn Carr, who is from the People Who Prevent Cruelty to Animals, or PETA, she said, what a load of ignorant codswallop. The NHS nutritionist confirmed that while a meat and dairy-based diet is what strikes people down in adulthood, as it can lead to hardened arteries and cause stroke, brain aneurysms and heart attacks. And a well-planned vegan diet is perfect for babies and children, according to her. Kids, including my own, thrive on a balanced vegan diet, but as with any dietary regime, it's the parent's responsibility to ensure their child is getting all the necessary nutrients. And yes, that's easier to achieve on a vibrant vegan diet in whole grains, vegetables and pulses. I'd starve to death if I was on a vegan diet. Anyway, in 2017, Bavarian, Belgium, a couple were sentenced to suspended sentence of 6 months after their 7-month-old baby died of malnutrition and dehydration because they were forced on a vegan diet. The infant's death was blamed by doctors on the parents' choice only to feed vegetable milk. Vegan diets are becoming more and more popular across the EU as the concerns about climate change and animal welfare grow. And I have no problem with an adult choosing to be a vegan. They're old enough to make that decision themselves if that's what they want to do and, sacrifice all of that. But it is wrong to subject a child to this diet. Or maybe you think it's not. Doctors in Belgium think it is. What do you think? Would you subject your child to a vegan diet? Or have you already subjected your child to a vegan diet? I know we have listeners, because they've been on the air before, who do. I've one listener, actually. She might give us a call. Catherine, I think is her name. She's rang in a couple of times before. And she has her dogs on a vegan diet. Her dogs on a vegan diet. I'll say it again. Her canines, which is short for coniferous, her canines are on a vegan diet. Dogs on a vegan diet. Have you ever heard the like of it in your life? They sell vegan dog food. I kid you not. They sell vegan dog food. I mean, why? But maybe you are a vegan. Come on the air and tell me, do you believe it should be illegal? John, I'm gonna go a step further on this. Do you believe it should be illegal to put your child on a vegan diet? Should it be illegal? I believe it should. You can argue with me. Prove me wrong if you can. The number is, as usual, 087 188 0008. That's 087 188 0008. You can WhatsApp or text right now. 087 188 0008. Let me go to Sharon. Sharon, you're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How are you doing, Sharon?
I'm good, thanks. Good, thanks.
Kitty's on a vegan diet, Sharon.
No, I wouldn't recommend, forcing it on a child. When they get a bit older, you'd need to know an awful lot about nutrition now to make sure they were getting everything, and that would worry me. And then also for some people, it's a buzzword. And for some people, they really investigate it and they make sure, So to protect the child, I would make it the law that they shouldn't be you know, it should be
Under the
legal
age of
to have the
16,
money.
let's say.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Give them a good old steak.
Now-
Give them a burger. Now, don't get me wrong. Everything
Yeah,
in moderation. You know what I mean?
Now, moderation, that's the thing, and we all could do with eating, you know, just a moderate amount of meat, which I kind of do
a healthy
now, you know,
diet.
I take
Yeah.
chicken and fish. But you know something, when you see what comes out of a burger, I mean, unless you make it yourself with the mince.
I
it's
always
shocking.
do.
It's
I always
shocking.
do. I wouldn't
Yeah.
buy pre-made burgers.
Me
I
too.
always make them with mince. And I always
Me-
buy,
me
you know,
too, with lean-
less than
lean-
5%
lean-
fat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they must be desperate for the arteries.
I know. Well, thankfully, I just got a blood test there recently, and I'm in tip-top condition.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, doctor was delighted. My cholesterol was.
It'd be great to hear that.
Do you know what the doctor said to me?
Your cholesterol
I had the
normal.
cholesterol. Oh, I had the cholesterol of a 30-year-old. I was told.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah. So very, very happy. John's clapping his hands there. He's delighted to see that I live another day.
Now, you spurred me on. I get them regularly, but, you know, I'm due my cholesterol test, so now that you've mentioned it, I will go and get mine checked as well.
Yeah,
It
liver was
fine
grand.
last
Well, I
time,
don't
but-
drink alcohol, so I'm sure the liver is fine. But here was the one thing that I was
Yeah.
surprised about. The doctor said to me, "You must be on it." She said, "You must have a good, healthy diet." I says, "Little do you know, I skip breakfast, drink 4 cans of Red Bull a day, and have one meal usually." So I said, and I don't eat vegetables at all. Which, by the way, did show
Wow.
up on my blood test because I was low on iron. So yeah, but that just means
But you
taking
could
iron.
get iron.
Yeah, I know.
Do you like salad, Niall? Do you like spinach? Like,
No.
You can throw spinach into your...
no.
Yeah, but you can
I'm
throw
not
it
a
into
rabbit.
your dinner and you wouldn't even... But listen, Niall, you can put it in an omelette and it's gorgeous and you don't even know it's there. And you can also put it into a meal when you're cooking it on the pan and you don't even know because it shrivels up.
My mother used to hide the
No,
cabbage.
that's the
When I
way
was a
to use
child, my mother would hide the cabbage in the potatoes. She'd mash it into the potatoes. Do you remember? Your mum would give you... Do you remember on a Sunday you'd get cabbage, potatoes?
Boiled,
yeah.
boiled to the death.
And to this day, I love lovely... My mother used to always do as well, creamy potatoes. You know, you put milk and butter in the potatoes and give it a good mix.
Oh, yeah. Real
Anyway,
treat.
sorry, we're going off on a
Yeah.
tangent. Anyway, yes. So getting back to the vegans, so you believe it would be wrong to put a child on a vegan diet, or to encourage a child even on a
because
vegan diet?
Yeah, I do, because not everybody would have the, you know, wherewithal, the knowledge is what I'd be afraid of. They need to educate themselves very well. And would everybody do that? You know, especially some people, they hear a buzzword, oh, I'm going to put my child on vegan, I'm going to go vegan. You need to know what you're talking about. Like, and if you do, that's fine. But still, you know, I'd be very wary
Yeah,
until they were a bit older and they'd done all their growing. Well, not all their growing, but a good part of their growing.
See, I know there's people out there listening, Sharon, and they're going, Boylan, have you ever seen an animal being slaughtered, you pig, you? Ironically enough, they call me pig. And I understand the hypocrisy in that, because I would hate to see... I absolutely appalled by animal cruelty. But in saying that, I accept that we're human beings and that we're predators as well, and that we've mechanized it. We don't run after the animals in the field ourselves. We've mechanized it, and we do produce animal food because we need animal proteins.
Yeah.
Do you eat much meat? Would you eat mainly chicken, or would you make beef? What's your choice?
I would probably have beef once a week, maybe twice.
Yeah.
But every other day, like, it would be, you know, I love to have salmon in all different types. I love to have the cooked salmon together with the you know, all the different salmon, and then some prawns. Have a fish meal one week.
Good for your brain,
And
by the
then-
way. Very good for your brain, Sharon.
And it's tasty. You know, it's tasty. If you do it with a salad, it's gorgeous.
The fish have the omega oils in them, which are very good for your brain.
Yeah, but I don't
I'm a
like it
chicken
if it's
person
tasteless
myself.
now.
I like a lot. I do eat beef.
chicken.
But
I'd be chicken a few days of the week as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on the chicken because it's so versatile. You can do so many different things with it. It's great.
Stay there. Let me just go to Jerry. Hang on, Jerry. Jerry, you're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How you doing, Jerry?
Well, fine, thanks.
Are you starting to get hungry listening to us talking about food?
A small bit.
Yeah. Jerry, the vegan. I mean, have you ever fancied being a vegan?
No, I have not. I think you'd end up kind of anemic, and
Well, if you didn't take the right supplements, yeah, you could.
yeah, You could, yeah, you could, and I think it's just over the top, really. I think they're better off with a mixed diet.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're an adult and you take caution and you know how to cook your food, a vegan diet is perfectly fine if that's your bag and that's what you want to do. There's no evidence that vegans live longer or live less than people who eat meat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. Fine, but I wouldn't encourage it. I think you're better off with a mixture of better for proteins, vitamins, iron, folic acid. The whole lot you can get naturally. Like if you have a balanced diet.
Yeah.
I think a vegan is. Even with supplements, I don't think you have a really healthy diet at all.
There was a couple in Florida going back a while ago. We talked about on the air. They had a baby on a vegan diet, and the baby got sick, and they wouldn't even bring the baby to a hospital because the hospital wasn't a vegan hospital.
Oh,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, did you even think there was such a thing? But there you go. They do have vegan doctors who won't prescribe certain medicines which are tested on animals or have animal byproducts in them, because many of the medicines that we take have animal byproducts in them. Like insulin, for example, has an animal byproduct in it.
That's unfair. The child should be given the choice when he's older whether he's going to be a vegan or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's irresponsible to be so strict on a baby at that age. Let him have a natural diet, and if he comes to the age of 16 or something, he says, "Listen, you're going to be a vegan." I say, "Right, fine." But that should be his choice. And as a child, he certainly should be given a full healthy diet. Rather than the parents insisting on him being a vegan, and he doesn't get the choice.
And have you ever tried to go without meat, Jerry?
I haven't really. No, I haven't. I enjoy a burger. I miss it badly. But,
I hope it's homemade, Jerry.
Sorry?
Is it a homemade burger? She said, Jerry.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. You don't just buy the pack of burgers and Duns or something like that, do you? In the box.
Oh yeah, I would.
Because you wouldn't know what's it. Like you wouldn't know what. Well, I don't know about just Duns in particular, but you wouldn't know what's in them. Like big horse meat or whatever. You wouldn't know what to be in it.
I wouldn't know what's in it, and I know. But I don't worry about it really.
Yeah, guaranteed to contain 10% meat or something ridiculous like that.
If you saw the fat that comes out of it.
Out of which?
In the meat, in the air. Out of the burger when you cook it.
Oh, I know. Oh, right, yeah.
In the air fryer. In the air fryer. What comes out of those is, imagine that in your body. No wonder people's arteries clogged up to the hilt.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's awful.
But some people love fat. My father was a great man for eating fat. Now, mind you, he died of a heart attack, but he was a great man for eating fat. He loved fat. Like, I'd see him, sucking on pig's bones and feet and skin and all sorts. He'd eat everything. My mother would boil it all up.
It's very tasty for some reason. Fat, unfortunately.
No.
It's very tasty.
No, it's not.
The skin on the chicken.
No.
I mean, I try to wait till the chicken cools down now. I won't eat the fat off the chicken, but the crispiness and the crispiness of the roast.
No, even if I'm cutting a steak, if I'm cooking a steak, all the fat has to be cut off.
All the fat. Me too.
Yeah. Couldn't. Turn me off. It'd make me physically ill to actually taste it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to. Stay there. Well, hang on. Let me go to Karen as well. Karen, how you doing? You're in Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How you doing, Karen?
I'm good, Niall. How are you?
Good. Karen, now, this idea that, raising children as vegans, I know there's people out there listening who are afraid to come on and talk about it because they do it, but should it be illegal?
That's probably a bit extreme.
Is it?
But I don't agree with it. Like, I wouldn't be doing that.
You've loads of time. You'd be able to do all that.
I've loads of kids and loads of time, Niall.
I know. So you'd have the time to do all of that and look at all, the ingredients.
And do you know what? Do you know what I should be doing? I should just have one of them big polytunnels and grow my own veg and just,
I could see that, yeah.
Farm to fork.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, remember that TV show years ago, The Good Life?
No, I'm not that old.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Sharon's older than you, obviously. Karen, she remembers it. I can't remember the couple's name, but it was Prunella Scales, wasn't the actress? Aunt Marjorie, she was the snob who lived next door, and then there was the two that lived off the land, and they had their, what do you call it, their tunnels and greenhouses out the back garden.
Oh, you know, I'll just be this. I'm
She
happy to
was
be
always
the
in the
snob.
wellies.
Yeah, they were always in the wellies, that's right, cutting it out, picking the potatoes and everything out of the back garden. But, I mean, you can live on that, but, you know, you do need the odd chicken out there too, you know what I mean?
Oh, I have chickens.
Have you?
I do have chickens. Yeah, I have 3 chickens, and I'm sourcing some ducks at the minute.
Right, for eggs?
Yeah,
And how many eggs would you get a day out of your chickens?
one from each chicken every day.
Would you?
Yeah,
Right, okay.
and they're
Wow.
gorgeous.
So is there any
And the
difference?
yellow
Is there any difference in the egg from your chicken and the egg you buy in Tesco's?
Oh yeah, like the yellow would be a lot more. It's more of an orange. It's real, an
Fresh.
intense yellow.
Right, okay.
Fresh. Yeah. They're fabulous and they're lovely to bake with and stuff. They're gorgeous.
Right.
Yeah. So that's.
And now
you know,
everybody's getting rid of
imagine
their
if you were
grass.
vegan and you missed out on that.
Sorry, Sharon, people are getting rid of the grass.
Yeah. About that girl there, she's very smart. Everybody's
I wouldn't have said
getting
that
rid
now,
of
in
their
fairness,
grass
but go on,
now.
yes.
They're doing these modern gardens, and they're doing away with all the grass. And how do they know we won't need polytunnels in the future? The way things are going, you know,
Yeah.
to grow our
Everyone's
own
getting
veg
fake
like our
grass now 'cause
grandparents
there's no
did.
maintenance.
Yeah, fake grass. There's no maintenance. You don't have to buy a lot. You save money on lawnmowers.
It just looks lovely.
It's expensive.
We have chickens, and the kids love going out and getting their eggs in the morning
And chasing the
a boiled
chickens around,
egg.
and chasing the chicken
Oh
around the
yeah,
garden.
my youngest gives them an awful time, but
Yeah.
you know,
And
they're
then,
quite robust.
and when they stop producing the eggs, will the
Yeah.
chicken be on the table for Sunday dinner?
Oh no, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't eat one of my own chickens now, because they're kind of like pets.
But yeah, but you'd buy
Do
one.
they
And,
have names?
I'd buy chicken and I.
and would you wave it out the window at them and say, "Here's your cousin"? No.
What are they called?
You know that they do eat. If I was to let one of the eggs fall or something, they would eat their own eggs.
What, they're cannibals?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, I didn't know. Well, they
they eat anything.
no, but they do. But they
eat
eat the
meat.
shells, don't they? Because they purposely eat the shells of broken eggs.
Well, I would grind up the shells and throw it back out because there's nutrients in it for them. So I would grind that up and throw it back out to them.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, no, the whole vegan thing. It's just, do you know what? It's more. It's these people and their notions.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's just like, oh, this is the latest fad. Let's jump on that bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all
Yeah,
trying to
both
ram it down
worlds.
our throats, and I just couldn't be bothered. Imagine not being able to go to McDonald's or going to parties or something, and you can't eat the food that everyone else is eating because, oh no, sorry, my mum says I'm a vegan.
My mum says I'm a vegan.
You can't have like your nuggets and your chips and your.
It is terrible.
Yeah,
I remember there was some, when I used to live many, many years ago, there was some kids up the road who used to hang around with my kids. And when they'd come down to the house, firstly, they weren't allowed into our house. They're a particular religion. I won't tell you which religion because I don't want to identify them. But they're only little kids. They were only like, one of them was about 6 and one was about 9. And they used to hang around my 2 kids who were in around the same age. And they weren't allowed into our house because they're not allowed to cross the threshold of a stranger's home without being invited and all this kind of. There's a whole religious thing around it. Right? They're also not allowed to break bread, right? Which means that they're not allowed to share food. In other words, if I was giving my kids, a jam tart or a biscuit or whatever it is at the door even, they weren't allowed to take any. And I thought it was always very sad. I felt really mean. And when my kids would have a party out the back garden, they'd have bouncy castle and they'd have, treats and all that kind of stuff. They weren't allowed to partake.
Oh, isn't that awful?
Yeah, so what they had to do was they would send their kids down an hour before all the kids would arrive and let them play on their own out the back garden for half an hour.
Oh God.
They didn't celebrate Christmas. They didn't celebrate Halloween because that's celebrating a false god.
Or birthdays.
Or birthdays or anything like that. It was strange. I kind of felt really... No, don't get me wrong. They were lovely kids. They were so mannerly. And they were lovely kids and so well behaved.
But they must have felt like they were missing out on so much.
But I said, I was talking to the father one day and I was, we had a good conversation. I was saying, and they were telling me they have no television. They have no mobile phones, only the one he uses for work because he's no choice. We live in a modern world. And he worked in the civil service, I think. And I said, but is it not really unfair on your children that they're really missing out on? And he says, well, look, that's just the way I choose to raise them. And I said, well, look, they're your children. You can raise them. And I credit to them. They were wonderful children and so well behaved. But in saying that, I kind of felt sorry for them. You know, that they were on a restrictive diet of everything, a social diet as well, apart from anything else. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Getting back to chickens and other things more important. So, Karen, you couldn't see yourself on a vegan diet?
Oh, absolutely not. I love my grub too much, and my kids just love their food and love, a Sunday roast. And they enjoy going to McDonald's, and food is something to be enjoyed. And I'm sure you can have lovely, nut roasts or whatever it is, but definitely it is not for me. And if it was something I chose to do, I definitely wouldn't put it on my children, because they need all of the nourishment from, a round, balanced diet. And I just don't think a vegan diet offers that to growing children. So I don't think it's right in that regard. If you're a fully grown adult and you want to be a vegan, that's fine. And ensure you take all whatever supplements you need to take. But I don't think it's fair to do that to children.
I'm struggling here tonight, and I said to John at the start of the night, I wonder, because we live in this kind of topsy-turvy world where allegedly 6% of the population or 7% are vegan. But I don't actually believe that figure. No, I don't believe that figure at all.
No. I think you've plenty of people that say, oh yeah, I'm a vegan, but come a Sunday morning with a bit of a hangover, I bet you they love nothing more than a rasher sandwich.
Speaking of the rashers, have you ever tried the turkey bacon? It's gorgeous.
I know. No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I had a lovely sausage roll.
The turkey bacon.
I had a lovely sausage roll the other morning.
Was it a proper homemade one though, or was it one of these ones
Spar shop job breakfast roll?
No.
A dirty one. A dirty one. Like greasy.
Was it a sausage roll or was it a breakfast roll?
It was a sausages and bacon.
Oh, I love that.
Roll.
Yeah, in a roll, and it was manky.
A big drippy egg.
No, I don't.
A big drippy egg.
I don't like egg. I'm not an egg person, Karen. No, I'm not an egg.
The McDonald's breakfast. If you're at home and you're just not in the mood to, you're in bed and you think, oh, I'd love someone to just hand it to me now, and you order a McDonald's breakfast. Oh, it's gorgeous.
People are starving listening to the show tonight. A McDonald's breakfast in bed, Karen, she said.
Yeah, once in a while.
What?
Oh, you just order it on McDonald's app up till about 11 o'clock. And they'll send you your...
Right where I live.
But I've never ordered McDonald's. Here's the thing when you order McDonald's, right? Because McDonald's goes... Yeah, because it goes cold quickly anyway, because the chips are so thin and they're full of air, right? So, and it goes cold really quickly. By the time the driver gets it from McDonald's to your house, it's freezing.
Or he'll have eaten it.
Or I knew a guy who delivered takeaways, and he never had to buy his dinner. So he basically, if it was Chinese takeaway, and if he was bringing you chicken balls, like he'd take 2 out of the packet while he'd eat them.
Well, you could just ask for a vegan driver.
Stay there.
And then you'll know all your food will be left there.
Stay there for a second. Let me go to Linda as well. Linda, you're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How you doing, Linda?
Hi, how are you?
Good, Linda. Vegans. Are you a vegan?
Do you know what? Actually, I have tried it out now the past year.
Right.
And I've got 2 kids as well, and my husband. So we've all went for the vegan lifestyle, and oh my God, it is like I'm like more awake. Like you're not like even I couldn't go back eating meat ever again.
You're more awake.
I feel like I'm more awake. I have more energy in me.
Right.
I feel healthier.
Well, maybe that's just you. And some vegans do feel healthier. That's fine. But the problem is for some people, depending on your digestive system and the way your body digests food, some people on a vegan diet have to be careful and they have to take supplements because when you don't have, animal proteins, you can be missing some vital amino acids. Now, that's not for everybody. But so, there's nothing wrong with a balanced diet, Linda. So
yeah, absolutely. And I take supplements as well, of course.
Yeah.
But like you don't know what you're getting. Everything's processed. You don't know what you're getting.
Oh, I would agree with you. But I mean, a lot of even some of the vegetables we buy are processed nowadays. So unless you're buying organic, and even then, some of the organic is a scam. To be honest with you, it's just people are taking an opportunity to charge you more for vegetables.
I've started. I think everyone should. I've started a garden. In my back garden, I've started growing my own food.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Karen was thinking of doing that. with her little
I did do
polytunnel.
it before, but I just wasn't.
Successful.
Yeah, no, I just grew a few bits, but God,
But you
used
would
to
see
be
the
out there
soil.
all day long.
Here, look, see, we have the best soil in the world in this country for growing food, and the best weather, by the way, for growing food. But in saying that, sometimes, and I don't understand, I'm not a farmer. I'm sure a farmer will explain it to me. But say the soil in Dublin might not be good for growing certain things, but the soil in Navan might be better for that, just depending on where you happen to live. But like things like potatoes, carrots, and onions, you can grow anywhere. You know. So, Linda, what are you growing?
So I have, lettuce is the main one.
Okay.
So I have a greenhouse, so that helps.
Right, you sound like a rabbit, but go on. Go on. Lettuce.
Lettuce, tomatoes, just all of that stuff, like loads of little bits, like, you know, that you'd be getting in your groceries, and it actually ends up a lot cheaper as well.
Well, of course, if you're growing them yourself, yeah. And so, how old are your kids?
My kids are 5 and 7.
And how long are they on a vegan diet?
They're the same time as me. Because
In the last year?
In the last year, yeah.
And why have you got your kids on a vegan diet? I'm sure they're hankering for a McDonald's McNugget.
Do you know what? I don't want... kids that struggle a lot with their weight and everything as they get older, and I feel like this helps them maintain it. It helps them with their sports, everything, you know, keeps them fit and healthy. And that's the way I want to raise my kids.
Well, a lot of doctors might disagree with you. And they'd say, you know, that children need... You know, do you remember years ago when we went to the doctor's office, there was that triangle up on the wall of the balanced diet, you know, your Daily 5 or whatever it was called. And right at the top of that triangle were your proteins, which were your, you know, your meats, your dairy products, you know, because they are important too. And unless you're going to supplement them with something else, you know, they can miss out. So to suggest that the one diet is healthier than the other is nonsense. Because, you know, a good balanced diet, but if you eat too much meat, by the way, it can cause cancer. You know, if you eat too much meat, you can get high cholesterol, you can get blocked arteries. But equally, if you don't have the right vegan diet and supplement it properly, you can also die from malnutrition. So, I mean, they both have their own advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, but those food charts, all that stuff, that was made years... Like, I remember that when I was younger.
But it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. We still...
It has.
No, we still eat the same foods for the same reasons. Like Sharon mentioned fish. Fish is great for omega oils, which are good for your brain. You know, I mean, greens are good for your iron and for your calcium or your bones and all that kind of carry on. Meat, which is animal proteins. We all need protein. It's really important for the body, for your red blood cells. So, I mean, all those kind of things, those rules haven't changed. Now, if you want to go on a vegan diet, which is without dairy and without meat, that's fine. That's your business. But I think imposing it on your children, because realistically, you're doing it because it's an ideology. You're not doing it for your health. You're doing it for an ideology.
Well, I'm doing it for health purposes.
Do you feel sorry for the animals?
Well, do you know what? To be honest with you, I actually couldn't really care about the animals.
Oh, right, okay.
It's more so...
Right. Is it a fad? You know that most people go on vegan diets, by the way, 60-something% of them go back off them within a year. Because it's kind of like my mate went on one, it's cool, you know?
It's not sustainable long term.
It is.
I just don't. No, I just don't agree with putting kids that young on a vegan diet. It can't be good for them. There are plenty of other ways of giving them a well-balanced, nutritious diet with plenty of exercise. And like you mentioned as well, the whole weight thing. Weight and children shouldn't even come into it if they have a balanced diet and are getting plenty of exercise.
Children put on weight, Linda, when you give them rubbish to eat or you give them too much food. That's how they put on weight.
Stick them in front of a telly
Yeah,
with it or an iPad.
absolutely. Yeah, they're like a fresh air and exercise.
We were all on. Everyone got meat and 2 veg years ago, and we were all outside. Nobody was sitting in watching the telly or on iPads or iPhones, and there wasn't a weight issue. It's because of screens and phones and tablets that there is a weight issue.
Yeah.
And when it comes to kids that young, they should be, like, a day like today, the weather was fantastic. They should not be inside at all. Just outside and run around and come in starving. Hunger is good sauce.
Yeah, Linda's kids are inside chewing on corn.
Well, listen,
I personally don't agree with it. For kids that young, I just don't think it's healthy.
Go ahead. Sorry, Linda.
Well, I do agree with it because 90% of kids are on their screen time and their iPads, and you can't get it off them. Like
you can. You're their parent. You say no.
Well, I can, but a lot of parents don't. So that's why I think vegan dietary should be introduced in Ireland as mandatory.
Mandatory.
If these parents,
Wow.
these parents can't get their tablet or their phones or the TVs off their kids, there's no chance that they're going to get them on a vegan diet.
And would you, when you say you'd make it mandatory, Linda, are you telling me that you would ban meat and dairy
100%.
products? Why? Just because you don't like them?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's
What we
disgusting?
do with all the overflow of animals?
Just give them their freedom.
I don't know.
Put farmers out of jobs. Put farmers out of jobs.
Well, they can get other jobs.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
Just like that, Linda.
Just like that.
Yeah, and what would happen to our economy, Linda? You do know that dairy products is probably our biggest export. What would happen to
Then
our
maybe
economy?
McDonald's would have to close. Burger King would have to close. Chippers would. Oh my God, it would have.
Or they'd all have to
a massive
adapt.
Impact. They'd all have to.
Nobody
adapt.
should be
We'd
eating McDonald's.
carrot sticks out of the chipper.
This is absolutely disgusting, and I don't think it should be included in a diet at all.
But I think a vegan diet is disgusting because I don't eat most of the stuff that you eat, probably lentils and all that kind of corn and whatever else you eat.
Corn, you know that pretend meat.
Oh yeah. I seen
Or
a
the
packet.
rashers.
Yeah, I seen it. I was in Asda the other day, and they had vegan rashers, and it was that corn stuff shaped like a rasher, and they had vegan chicken nuggets.
Why? Like why?
I wouldn't with those.
No,
I wouldn't go near them.
no, you wouldn't go near that stuff. That kind of mass-produced stuff.
No, absolutely not. You can't fake vegan products into tasting and looking like chicken and all that stuff. I think.
So what happens in your house every day? The kids all excited, going, "What are we having for dinner today, Mommy? Barley again, is it, or what? Well, I don't know. Lentils, tofu. Wow.
I think your line is up there.
Oh, sorry. I'll fix it now for you. Hold on. Sorry. Go ahead, Linda. What did you say? Sorry.
Sorry, I think your line was cutting out there.
It probably wasn't my line. It's a radio station. I think it was yours. You're on the move somewhere there, Linda, I think. So, Linda, what do you give them for dinner on? Like, what did you give them to dinner for your kids today?
I actually didn't cook dinner today. My husband did, but
Okay.
we had lettuce.
Yeah. Sorry, go on. No, I didn't mean what did you give the rabbits? I said, what did you give your children today? Lettuce?
So we had a mixture. So we had lettuce, we had tomatoes, we had what else did we have? Oh, I can't
I'm
remember.
starving for you all.
I'm starving listening to you. Linda, did you ever, go to a barbecue or think to yourself, "Jays, I'd love a sausage roll"? Or, I mean, because I'm assuming you're not a young lady. Well, when I say you're not a young lady, you're not like 10. You know what I mean? So you've experienced eating meat for all of your life up to last year. So you must miss it.
Do you know what? I don't. I said it myself. I feel better about myself. Even my mind with work and everything, I feel more clearer. I would not go back eating meat. I think it drains you.
Okay, what do you say to the doctors in Belgium who say it's not good for children and this idea of forcing them on a vegan diet? They're suggesting it almost should be illegal, that it's wrong. Many children have died on a vegan diet from malnutrition.
No, they haven't.
Yes, they have.
No, they haven't.
Linda, I have the facts in front of me, Linda. You can say no, they haven't 20 times. It doesn't make it any more valid. I can tell you factually they have. And babies have died on vegan diets. People actually put their babies on vegan milk.
Oh my God.
And I would too.
Stop. So a baby died in Belgium. The parents got 6 months suspended sentence in jail because they put the baby on vegetable milk.
Oh my God.
Well, lock me up then.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you planning on having
We're
more?
fighting a losing battle
Yeah,
here now.
are you planning on having more children, Linda? I'm sorry if I'm rude by asking that question.
I'm actually expecting at the minute.
Oh, right, okay. So are you going to raise that? Well, I'm assuming you're going to I don't know. I'm not going to ask your personal business if you're going to breastfeed. But if you're a vegan and you're breastfeeding, well, then the child is essentially taking vegan milk. But I'm assuming then you're not going to get that child any other type of protein milk.
No, I'm not. I'll be breastfeeding as well. So
yeah,
I haven't done my full research yet, but I need to figure out kind of what way.
Why would you do that? Linda? Why would you do that to a child, to a baby, the most precious thing in the world, a baby? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I want to fill it with processed.
Do you think we've been getting it wrong for thousands of years or something like that?
I do, because you can see it in people these days. Everything's changed, I think.
Look at the teeth. Look at those two. Look at those two. Well, that's because people are gluttons. That's why we're getting bigger. Because nowadays we've so much, as you rightly said, processed food. And people are being gluttonous. That's the only reason that the population are getting bigger, is because people are not eating a balanced diet.
Sorry, I said sicker, not bigger.
Well, they are getting bigger as well, and sicker, and they're getting sicker. You are right. But the reason for that is, well, there's two reasons for that. Is one, we diagnose better illnesses nowadays, but because people just died of a heart attack years ago at the age of 60 and nobody cared. Nowadays we can stop and prevent people from doing that. But also, you are right, there's a lot of processed food out there and people are being gluttons. I mean, if you're going to eat 5 steaks a week or something like that, well, then you're going to end up with clogged arteries, you're going to end up with cancer or something like that, or be dead before you're 70. But that doesn't mean you can't have 1 steak a week. Everything in moderation. So for your baby that's expecting, and good luck, by the way, with your pregnancy, for your baby that's expecting, why would you put your child at a disadvantage? When, if you want to go online, you said you haven't done your research yet, go online and look and just type into Google, how many babies in the world die because their parents forced them onto vegan diets? How many parents have gone to jail because they put their children on vegan diets and they died of malnutrition?
Property, child won't die of malnutrition.
But you can't, here's the thing, you cannot deny your child dairy products or products made from animal byproducts, because in medicines, for example, there's animal byproducts. You're not going to avoid medicines. So why avoid it at all? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense apart from some sort of fad that you're going through, a phase.
I'm going to raise them vegan, and when they get to 18, they can do whatever they want.
Would you not do it? Would you not do it the other way? Would you not do it the other way around?
No, because then they've spent too long eating dairy and meat products and everything like that. So
well, you're fine up until this point in your life, and you've had meat up until now.
Yeah, and I feel better.
You do, yeah, and you do, but that's probably because you've had the nourishment and benefit throughout your life as you have been growing. Let your children grow and develop, and then encourage them to eat less meat.
You're listening to Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan.
With Recruit.ie. Download our job search app today. Search for Recruit.ie in your smartphone app store.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
Some of the text coming in, I think Linda's mad. What she's doing to her children is cruel. Somebody else says, Linda, your dinner today must have been spectacular. You can only remember the lettuce and the tomatoes, and probably shop bought as well. Let me just go to Cormac as well. Cormac, you're in Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How you doing, Cormac?
Good evening, Niall. It's nice to talk to my favourite journalist and broadcaster again on a non-contentious issue.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, I think, it can be quite contentious, to be honest with you. I mean, some people feel very passionate about it. But Cormac, you had an issue.
It's quite fortuitous because I'm sitting in one of my favourite restaurants enjoying a rare steak with sauté onions and skinny fries right now.
Right. What restaurant are you sitting in as we speak?
I'm sitting in White's on Dawson Street.
Right.
Here, Marco Pierre's.
Right. Very nice. Jesus, well for some, isn't it, Cormac?
Well, I've had a rough time. I'm just over 2 weeks of COVID on my own in the United States, and I'm kind of recuperating.
Right, okay. Well, I hope you get well soon, and I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
So, Cormac, getting back to being a vegan, is it fair to put children on a vegan diet?
Well, my own experience, Niall, is that I'm quite staggered to hear you quoting babies dying from vegan diets. I had a grandson who was 14 years of age, and he was a very large boy. He was 6'2", just had a record released on Spotify, actually, at 14 years of age.
Well done to him.
Anyway, he He was 17 stone at 14 years of age, okay?
Okay, he's a big lad.
And he was a big lad, 6'2", and we were quite concerned about him. He was living with my wife and I for a number of months. And we had to do something about it, so we encouraged him to go on a vegan diet for a few months to try it out, okay? Now, he was 17 stone to 2 pounds when he started this diet. He dropped 4 stone in 7 months eating vegetables and pasta.
Mm.
Now, he's absolutely a different child now. He's fit, he's agile, he's about 14 stone, he's 6'2", he's 15 years of age now.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience with it. So,
and that's great. But he's an adult. Do you know what I mean? When I say an adult, he's a grown young man.
Well, he was 14. Yes, he is, and that's why I was quite staggered to hear.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about at 14. See, at 14 years of age, you could suggest to your child to go on a vegan diet, and it's up to them entirely. They'll decide. If they don't want to do it, they won't do it. But we're talking about babies here and children of 3 and 4 years of age.
I'm absolutely staggered at your statistics on that. I mean, it seems to me to be quite unnatural that babies would die on a vegan diet, because if you look at the development of mankind, I mean, I don't think the original species were eating meat. Early mankind lived on vegetation.
But our bodies, bodies have evolved. When we look at the intestine of the modern human being, right, we're not designed to live solely on a meat diet because our intestines are too short. And we used to have longer intestines, of course, when we were Homo sapien. But our intestines have shortened, so now we're kind of omnivores. But we still retain, say, canine teeth, for example. I think human beings essentially are omnivores. We're certainly not herbivores. We're omnivores because we got rid of our... wasn't that the whole purpose of that thing that usually... What's it called again? That bursts sometimes you're not... What's that?
But Niall, tell me... Nature is nature.
Yes.
If you die by eating natural foods, there's something wrong with the natural foods.
Well, we don't have the natural selection we should have. I mean, you could probably live quite healthy. You could probably live quite healthy on vegetation, and people do all across the world.
That's not to say that a vegan diet on proper food is lethal. If you're eating proper food...
Well, it is for a baby, according to doctors. According to doctors, unless you're supplementing it. Unless you're supplementing it.
I accept that, and I was quite staggered to hear you saying that, because I cannot understand how a baby might pass if they're eating natural food provided by nature.
I would challenge anybody to, and I remember doing a topic on this going back about 4 or 5 years ago, and I looked up the research of the amount of babies that die on vegan diets because of forced vegan diets, and it's more common than you think. There was a couple went to jail in France. They're going back about 2 years ago. This particular story here was in relation to a couple in Belgium who got 6 months in jail, again, for putting their baby on a forced vegan diet. Now, some of these will do it because of ethical reasons. So not only will they have them on a vegan diet, but if the child needs medical aid or medical care, they won't bring them to a doctor. They'll bring them to a vegan doctor. They won't bring them to a hospital.
Do you not think that the outcome of those situations is due to the fact that the food that the child is consuming is probably laden with chemicals? I mean, if you eat a grape at the moment, grapes are the most lethal thing you could possibly eat. Strawberries, raspberries.
Well, because the pesticides.
Yes, or other sprays. Not only pesticides, but other sprays. So to say that a vegan diet could be lethal for babies, I don't think is correct.
Well, hang on. Let me just go to James before the break, because I've got a minute before the break here, and I'm going to bring both you and James back after the break. Sorry, James, go ahead.
How are you, Noel?
How you doing, James? Well, just a minute before the break, and then I'll bring the two of you back on after the break. But go ahead, James.
Yeah, I think it's completely unethical. I think it's unscientific. I think it's child abuse. I think it's become more of a dogma than an actual style of living. And it's just it's a radicalization. it's just over. It's overused now in modern day. It's the same kind of crowd that push that same agenda. So, you know,
it's almost like you'd be of a cult of some description.
Yeah, and if it's found to be true, that adults are doing this to their children, Child Protective Services should stand in, should come in.
Well, unless the child is old enough to make a decision themselves.
Well, of course, yeah.
But, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand what Cormac has said about the 14-year-old grandson who had a bit too much weight on him. He went on a vegan diet. He's lost all the weight. And by the way, I hope he's supplementing that diet. You know, obviously, if he's missing any aminos or whatever it happens to be, that's fine. And he's 14, so he's old enough to make his own decisions whether he wants to be forced to eat vegetables and have no pizzas. But to do it to a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old is ridiculous.
Well, it's a form of malnutrition, and even scientifically speaking, if we go back to Australopithecus, which would be 2.6 million years ago, is when human beings are estimated to have started incorporating meat primarily in their diets. They said that there might not even be human beings as we are today, as in we wouldn't have the intelligence that we have today. We wouldn't have the size of our brains became much more developed after incorporating a much denser caloric diet, which included meat. So we are here today because of meat.
Real people, real opinions, Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Ireland's classic hits.